Hi, YouTubies! It's me, Zachary Michael. Also, sorry, there's a loud truck outside. Also, I got a hair in my eye. How is that possible when I'm like literally have my hair? I made this big ordeal before we started recording where I like pulled my hair back, put on a hat because I kept playing with my hair and I felt like it was real distracting. But we're here now, divas. Hi, hello. How are you all doing today on the YouTubies? I hope you're doing well. I was reminded today that we were gonna pay a visit back to the Carnivore curmudgeon. If y'all don't remember, he was the one that was like making uncomfortable jokes about like people's genitals and how carnivore helps you have better sex allegedly. I'd like to see the evidence. I'd like to see the proof, to be honest with you all. I would like to see. And you know what though, thinking about it, I don't know what the evidence or proof would look like, so maybe I don't want to see the evidence and proof. But allegedly, not show the Carfax. Allegedly, it improves your life in so many ways. But anyways, that guy had another video that we scoped out when we were watching that. Like, we went and looked at his channel, looked at what he had to offer, and he had a video called A Carnivore Twinkie. Twinkie being like the Hostess snack. Isn't that made by Hostess? Twinkie. Let me, in case you're not familiar with the snack Twinkie. Now, I know in my corner of the internet, a lot of people, when they hear Twinkie, they think Twinkie Star. Twinkie Star. Which is famously Amber Lynn Reed's dog. Okay? The Twinkie I'm talking about is this one. Well, stop. That's not exactly what I wanted. Open image and new tab. The Twinkie I'm talking about is this. Okay, it's like light fluffy cake, like yellow cake, golden sponge cake with a creamy filling. Oh, what do y'all know about creamy filling, you know? Ain't no way anything about this as a concept could be carnivore. It's sugar, it's cream, it's carbohydrates. So it's just like, now what the fuck could a carnivore Twinkie look like? You know, while we're on the topic of Twinkies, what I think is so funny, I don't know if this is a Midwest thing or what, but like I have a number of like straight white women in my life throughout time who, like, let's say you come in and you have like, we both brought Diet Cokes to class today and they'd go, "Oh my god, Twinkies." And I'm like, "Girl, what?" And then they'll be like, "We're twinks." And I'm like, "No, we are not twinks." What do you mean? You mean twins. You mean we're twinning. We're twins. We're doing the same thing. Like, what the fuck do you mean we're Twinkies or we're twinks? First of all, I ain't never been a twink, unfortunately. Well, I don't know. I don't know that I want to be a twink. But, like, a lot of straight white women that I went to school with, like, I would say all the way from high school through my undergrad. I would say this doesn't apply to anybody I went to grad school with. But they would call them twinks or Twinkies. And I'm like, that's just not the case. That's just not, I don't know why they did it. Maybe that was just like some weird Midwestern shenanigans. I don't know. Did you just call me a slur? Well, listen, also getting called a twink by like another queer person is one thing, okay? Sometimes these straight people these days be throwing around the word twink to describe gay people just in general, and it feels like a slur. It does. It really does. It really does. So yeah, lots to consider. Lots to consider. Not Marsha crazy in the chat saying twink is better than slut. First of all, ain't nothing wrong with a twink or a slut. I'm just neither. I'm just not neither one of them. A person I know calls her twin daughters twinks, and I cringe every time I see it. Okay. Alright, Arobo. I'm feeling not alone right now. Welsh Cat, thanks so much for 28, not this, 28 cream-filled months. Thank you so much for resubscribing. One time my mom asked me what a twink was and I made her Google it. Oh dear. Oh dear. What came first, the twink or the Twinkie? I really don't know, Diva. I really don't know. So anyways, here we are. Here we are. This is what a Twinkie, like the snack cake, actually looks like. Honestly, truly, also though, I've never been a Twinkie girl. Like, that's never been... I've had them before, and they were fine. But, like, I don't know. Maybe it's because my mom never bought them for us. She bought us other snacks. She would willingly, constantly buy me Cosmic Brownies. I probably had more fucking Cosmic Brownies in my life. When it comes to snack cake types of things, or, like Hostess Little Debbie things, my mom would get us... Cosmic Brownies. She would get us Star Crunches. Love a Star Crunch. Love a fucking Star Crunch, okay? And she would get us the oatmeal cream pies. The oatmeal cream pies, divas, and I love them all. I love them all. Love them all. I remember the first time I had a Twinkie was at my friend's house growing up in, like, middle school. I stayed the night with him, and he was like late night. We were like trying to stay up. We were trying to stay up as late as we could. And he's like, maybe we just need some sugar. And he got us a Twinkie, and I did eat it. And I was like, this is fine, but I don't really care for it. Oh, and Swiss cake rolls. Yeah, my mom would get us Swiss cake rolls too, as well. I would say, in the grand scheme of things, like, Swiss cake rolls for me were below the other three. Like, Cosmic Brownies were always my number one. And then it's a toss-up depending on the day, between Star Crunch and oatmeal cream pies. And then it would be Swiss cake rolls. You know, I like to, like, deconstruct the Swiss cake rolls when I would eat them as a kid. I would, like, because you know the, like, chocolate on the bottom of them is, like, thicker. And so I would, like, take that part off, I'd eat it, and then I would, like, unroll the Swiss roll. Yeah, you peel off the chocolate first. Absolutely. Okay, anyways. Oh my god, none of this is carnivore at all. The carnivore girlies are upset at us talking about us eating our processed sweets. Poison! Poison! My mom would also get us chocolate chip granola bars a lot, too. And I remember in my head thinking that granola bars were, like, so healthy or something. For some reason, as a kid. There was some part, and I'm like, it really made no sense. They literally had chocolate chips in them. Like, it's literally filled with chocolate chips. What do you mean it's healthy, Diva? Those and fruit snacks. It's like, oh, I was like, oh, fruit is in the name. It's a fruit snack. This is so healthy. Girl, they're gummies. Girl, it's candy. Girl, you're eating candy, Diva. You're eating candy. But anyways, the Carnivore Curmudgeon has this video called A Carnivore Twinkie? ? And that's what we're gonna watch today. So if y'all are ready to get to, could you put some 69s in the chat? It's a 12-minute long video today. On my deathbed, holding the hand of my five-year-old great-grandson, Joseph, bring me my cream pie poison. Yes. Oatmeal means healthy. That's why I can eat a whole box of oatmeal cream pies and not feel bad. Tea. Honestly, truly, Peter Mon was talking about them in some vlogs recently, and even posted a picture with his cousin Caroline, and she was holding up the Nutty Buddy bars, and he was holding up the oatmeal cream pies. And I was like, it has been so long since I had an oatmeal cream pie, but those shits were so good. I had this feeling about like Cosmic Brownies like a few months ago, and somebody, my friend James, actually, I went over to his place, and he got me a box of cosmic brownies because he had seen me talking about it. And I was like, girl, what am I gonna do with all, like, I just need one. I just needed one. I don't need a whole box. And that's the problem. But I think at some like gas stations and convenience stores, you can get single serving cosmic brownies and oatmeal cream pies and things like that. So I think I just need to be on the lookout one day when I want to really treat myself, you know? Wow. I hope this first 10 minutes of this re-upload have been so fun for you all. We're gonna actually get to now though. Let's get to. Hey, oh, there's music.
Well, hey out there, everybody. It's Bradford, your carnivore curmudgeon, and today
I forgot his name was Bradford. Oh, I just heard. I just heard his name was Bradford.
Going to take a look at something I made recently that was just whimsical, and that is a soft, moist, delicious carnivore Twinkie.
I need you to not use the word whimsical to describe this. I need you to not use the word whimsical? Whimsical diva? We're calling this whimsical? Who is that? Carly Wizard Lizard? The old Carly in the chat who says whimsy saves lives? Is this, Carly, if you're here, is this the whimsy you're talking about? Diva, that's not whimsical. That's a war crime. Absolutely. This is diabolical. This is diabolical. Mind you. Okay. I mean, we're obviously gonna watch the process, but this is what a Twinkie looks like, divas. In case you forgot from moments ago.
Well, it's not really a Twinkie. It's just a tiny meatloaf.
No shit, Sherlock. What about this is giving Twinkie? How does it look dry and greasy at the same time? That's a great question, Jamie. That's a great question. Is this banana bread? I stepped away. This is a carnivore Twinkie, diva.
That I stuffed with some cream cheese and cheddar that just sort of reminded me of a Twinkie. So we're going to look at how I made this, and I'll tell you if I would make it again.
That's cheese? He said cream cheese and cheddar. That's cheese?
And we'll also make a quick little...
Now what are these? Now what are those? Now what are those? What are those? This is what he means when he says that carnivore makes your sex life better. Cause why does it look like he's crushing it for Christ? Those are balls.
Secondary recipe. The key to this, though, is I started with this Marcho Farms meatloaf mix, ground veal, pork, and beef.
I didn't even know you could buy meatloaf mix at the grocery store.
I've had this before. I don't know what they do, but the ratio of those three meats makes a really nice, delicious meatloaf without a bunch of added stuff. And the recipe is actually quite simple.
Okay.
I started with that meatloaf, and I took one egg.
Okay.
And when I learned a couple of years ago that when I add an egg to a hamburger mix or a meatloaf mix, I get better results if I scramble it up first, because if I just throw that egg in there, it seems like it never gets stirred up enough. It never really gets incorporated into the meat as well as when I scramble it.
Okay. All right. I saw someone say carnivore is meat, right? Dead animal, not animal byproduct like cheese. I must be misinformed. It depends on who you're talking to. I think a lot of people who do carnivore consider like animal products like eggs and dairy to be a part of the carnivore diet. The carnivore diet seems mostly opposed to plant products, if I'm being honest with you. There are some people like Darlene the Sardine Queen who say that like dairy makes her inflammation worse, so she cuts dairy out. But then she does also eat butter, which is like a dairy byproduct. So it really just depends. It really just depends. The cinematography is far too gentle when we know the end result is default poop texture number 2. Vociferous. Why is he raw dogging the meat with his hands? I think a lot of people do that when they make meatloafs. Do they not? Coffee is also animal derived for carnivores. Don't ask them how, though. Yeah, a lot of carnivore people do drink coffee.
And then just sort of pour it all over. And I'm also going to add some salt and some garlic.
Wait. Well, I don't know. It's always hard to tell with editing. He could have just edited out the part where he went and washed his hands. But he did make it look like he went straight from touching the meat to touching the garlic powder.
Garlic powder and some minced onions, dried minced onions in this case, because I couldn't find my onion powder. But speaking of garlic and onion powder, I had a viewer who wrote on a different video. He didn't.
Oh, I feel like he's going to address what some of y'all are saying in the chat right now. Garlic, that's poison. That's poison. Is he going to address how that's not carnivore?
Didn't understand why I called it carnivore chili when it had spices in it, because spices are plants. And even though
is his video frozen?
Carnivore chili when it had spices in it, because spices are plants. And even though he wasn't carnivore himself, he wanted to know why I called it carnivore. Well, of course, I explained as nicely as I could that...
Well, of course you explained.
Some people can handle spices, and I can, and so they're generally accepted. But then he wrote back again, and he wanted to argue that words...
Okay, Amberlynn, talk about people in the comments. Not that I've never talked about people in the comments, but I love that he said, listen, I said this as nicely as I could, and you know what? I'm going to repeat it again here. Haters. White man says he can handle spices. Well, I think what he's saying is his digestive system can handle the plant poison. I think that's what he's trying to say. And obviously by spices, what he really just means is garlic powder and onion powder.
Mean things, and if I call it carnivore and it has spices in it, then it's not carnivore. So I explained to him that Lake Titicaca also isn't filled with boobs and poop. But since I don't swim there, I try my best not to let it bother me.
Sir, what? Sir, what? Sir! Oh, that's so funny to me. That is so funny to me. Why does his brain think like this? Why does his brain operate like that? Sir, Lake Titicaca is a lake full of boobs and shit. Oh my god. So these carnivore people are out here eating plain meat without any spices. A lot of them, yeah. A lot of them. I mean, like Darlene, she talks about cooking up just a pound of ground beef with butter, and that's it. Lake Titicaca is a beautiful name for a baby boy. Amen. Amen. I mean, I think his response is sassy. He's a sassy man. A sassy man.
So don't worry about it, Curtis.
Wait, I should have waited for that part. I should have waited for that part. Wait, I need to hear that again.
My best not to let it bother me. So don't worry about it, Curtis.
Yeah, fuck you, Curtis. Fuck you.
Okay, now back to our Twinkie recipe. So I did pour this scrambled egg all over the spiced up meat.
Yummy. And then, the spiced up meat. Again, the spices in question are garlic and onion powder.
You know the drill. Take some nice clean hands and mix until it's all incorporated very nicely and a little bit sticky.
Ooh, what do you know about a little bit sticky? I'm sure he does know about a little bit sticky. He said that carnivore increases your sperm count. He probably knows about a little bit sticky.
And you can certainly do this in a full-size bread pan, but I had these tiny bread pans for something. I don't even know what I had them for. Haven't baked with them in years. Had actually.
Oh, he just reached into that tub of Wagyu beef tallow with his hands and he said,
dig all the way in the back of the cupboard to find them. And I greased this up with my favorite Wagyu fat.
Yeah, grease it up.
So that it wouldn't stick to the pan. And then I filled it up about 75% of the way up the pan. I wanted to make sure that I had room for that fat that was going to render out of this. I got a feeling this meatloaf mix is probably the better portion of pork.
Also, well, I mean, I do forget that this is carnivore, but I was thinking, like, doesn't meatloaf usually have more binding agents besides just the meat and egg? But he's probably not putting breadcrumbs in his carnivore meatloaf.
Than it is the beef and the veal. It always gives off a lot of fat.
But, it was the minced onion. Yeah, I guess that's what's taking place of the breadcrumbs that typically go in a meatloaf.
Usually I make my meatloafs on a cookie tray freeform. So I wanted to just make sure that it had room for that additional fat. And since I had some meat left over, I decided to just make some, as my wife would call them, cute little meatballs. It seems like women really like cute food and cute dishes. Anyway.
What? See, it seems like men or women really like cute foods and balls. Like this, I don't listen. After 2 videos now of hearing the way that he talks about women, it just seems uncomfy. It feels like something's off. It feels like something's off. Hi, Allybug79. Thanks so much for 21 or 27 months of subscribing with Prime. Appreciate it.
So I took about a half a cup of pork rinds. Since I already had them ground up, and I thought, well, that might be tasty if I rolled them around in these pork rinds and make a nice crispy meatball with the stuff that won't fit in the pan. And I actually ended up making 2 batches of this, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
Now the oven, I'm going to put that meatloaf in the oven. I'm sorry, or Twinkie in the oven.
Sir, let's stop trying to make the Twinkie thing happen. I don't think it's happening, Diva. How is this a Twinkie? Well, it's a Twinkie because the final product, he stuffs that little meatloaf with cream cheese and cheddar.
And at 350 for 30 minutes, and then I'm going to take 4 ounces of room temperature softened cream cheese, and about 1/3 to 1/2 cup of some shredded cheddar.
Okay.
And to that, I'm going to add 1 egg. And the only reason I'm going to add the egg, actually, I'm not going to add an egg. I'm going to add 1/2 an egg.
Okay.
I'm doing that so that when we put this back in the oven, it helps the cream cheese and cheddar to bind and bake rather than just melt away. So just 1/2 an egg.
Okay.
And mix it all in. That cheddar will break up as you mix it, and it's going to fit through.
I don't love it. I don't love it. I don't love it. This music, what in the Five Nights at Freddy's fan music? I don't think I've even watched somebody play Five Nights at Freddy's. It feels like I'm not the right generation for that video game. What else he used that 1/2 egg for? Well, I think he said he just got done saying that he ended up making 2 batches, so I assume that's what he uses the other 1/2 of it for. Does this mean no Zach recreation? I'm not really recreating recipes these days. If I was gonna recreate a recipe, I would have recreated that like hamburger gravy nonsense that Amber Lynn made a few weeks ago maybe. I think that that's just that time has passed in my life. Like we have moved on. I guess I'll never say never, but I haven't felt inspired to do that in a minute. So
One of my favorite gadgets right here. This is about a $12 gadget at
what is
Walmart,
this?
and you can watch me awkwardly put it together here because I use it so seldom.
Is this what he's using to stuff the meatloaf?
Forget about it. Actually, use this most of the time for deviled eggs.
Okay.
Since I don't decorate cakes, and that's what this is. It's a dessert decorator. I believe it's called a Wilton.
This seems like a lot of work to stuff your Twinkie. To stuff your meatloaf. What do you know about stuffing your meatloaf? This recipe alone would set your heart journey back a few months. It's very possible, truly. I've got a lot of questions about carnivore health and things like that I don't know. If you ask a carnivore, they'll tell you that it's perfect and it's wonderful and it's only improved their lives, but I'm not quite convinced.
Dessert decorator plus, and as I said, it's like $12 at Walmart. I've had this thing for years. No telling what it cost when I bought it.
This music, you know what, Maya, now that you brought up the music, it is weird. It is a weird vibe for the Carnivore Twinkie video.
Just filled up this tube with the softened cream cheese mixture.
I think there's a healthier way to do carnivore. Probably, and like honestly, you know, I always felt I if you've never watched my channel before, I did keto for like 2 years of my life, like really truly like right up until like the first maybe year of me doing YouTube before I like got like bigger on YouTube and stuff like that. And I think it taught me a lot about like macronutrients that I never knew about. It made me realize just like how many carbs I was eating, which I think is like even still today like stuck with me even though I don't do the diet. And people took keto to extreme lengths because it's also like a low carb, high fat diet where you focus on protein, focus on eating like excessive amounts of fat, and it's supposed to keep you satiated. And people would go to extremes on it to the point that I didn't relate to it. So there's certainly healthier ways to do keto. I still question, like, I don't know, is it healthy to never eat vegetables? Never eat fruit? Never? Because like keto allows for vegetables, for fruit occasionally, things like that. But I don't know. I have a fancy stuffer too. It's my boyfriend. Dump and go. Go to the pit. I'm sending you to the pit.
And here's the thing. Don't put this back in the fridge while your meatloaf is cooking if you decide to do this, because it only takes about 10 minutes for that to become too hard to squeeze through the tube.
Too hard to squeeze through the tube? What do you know about too hard to squeeze through the tube? I love that I literally just sent someone to the pit for saying something inappropriate, and I'm like, too hard to squeeze through the tube? Not that.
Ask me how I know. Too hard to squeeze through the tube. Ask me how I know. Too hard to squeeze through the tube. Ask me how I know.
Why do I feel like he took it to that place? Carnivore curmudgeon to the pit. Go to the pit. Ask me how I know. Something about him gives me the ick. There's probably a lot of things about him that should give me the ick, to be honest.
Anyway, got my cream cheese mixture in the cake decorator, the dessert decorator, and it's all ready to be our Twinkie filling when it comes out of the oven after 30 minutes.
Oh,
And
look at that. Just a block of meat sitting in its own grease.
here it is. I'm going to take a bowl with a paper towel, a little something to grab that hot pan with, not awkward at all, and then drain the grease.
Oh.
Really need to drain this grease off for the last portion of this recipe.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Did you see that? I think Darlene, yeah, absolutely would just drink it. I feel like a lot of carnivores would probably just slurp that up. I'm like proud of him for not like just keeping the grease all a part of it, and also it was gross, and also that looked disgusting. Maybe he's wait, just because I know nobody has a unique experience in the world. When you were a kid, did you ever take like a washcloth or a towel or something and get it wet and then like suck the water out of it? First of all, am I crazy that I did that? I don't think I am. I feel like that's like a universal child experience. Okay, lots of yeses in the chat. Now, I just imagine him doing that with that paper towel full of grease from the meat. I just imagine he's like slurping it out of the paper towel. Just imagine.
Next, I took my dessert decorator, which I'm thinking about renaming the Curtis 2000.
Not him bringing up Curtis again. Curtis really hurt him with those comments. Curtis really hurt him with those comments earlier.
And just made a couple of stuffed
yeah, maybe he should call Curtis. Maybe if this device is making him think about Curtis, give old Curtis a call. Maybe Curtis can help you up. Like, you want Curtis filling up your Twinkie? You want Curtis creaming in your meat Twinkie, Bradford?
holes with this cream cheese and cheddar mix. Sort of in the fashion like if you turned a Twinkie upside down. You know, back in the day when we ate Twinkies, not today. And I filled up as much as I could feel, you know, how it was filling up the tiny little meatloaf. I mean Twinkie. And once you've got
the grease is beef piss. He sucks the beef piss out of the paper towel. Piss can confirmed. Now, who said all of that? Now, who the fuck said all of that? You just took it to a whole different level. Who knows you knows?
however many you want to stuff it with. 3, 6, 8, depends on the size of your meatloaf. With this mixture, it's time to put it back in the oven, still at 350, for about 10 minutes to help that mixture get incorporated and the egg to do its thing to keep it from running all over the place. Turn it upside down.
And how does it look so beige and bland? I mean, I know how it looks bland. He only put onion powder or minced onion and garlic powder on it, but this is upsetting for sure.
A plate, and basically you're done. But you may want to let it cool for just a couple of minutes before cutting into it.
Okay.
So that mixture doesn't run all over the place. And as one of my favorite sausage YouTubers would say over at Versed Circle.
Verse? Sausage YouTuber? A sausage YouTuber who's verse? Wait, when he was saying sausage YouTuber, I thought he was talking about, who's the guy that Willow Davis used to watch? He made weird sausages on his channel. I can't remember. What was that guy's channel name? Will It Sausage? I don't think that was it, though. Weird sausage guy. Ordinary sausage! Ordinary sausage. This guy. Willow used to watch this guy on his channel all the time. rat food sausage, carbonated jello. Does he have like a soda stream where he tries to see if things will carbonate? Oh my gosh. Steak boiled in onions. Crazy. Crazy. Gushers steak boiled in Gushers fruit snacks. Like this guy is just this is who I thought. This is who I thought the carnivore curmudgeon was talking about, but apparently not. He was talking about versed something or another.
Yeah, I would say now it is time to taste it. So I cut it up into several
you can
pieces.
barely
You can
see the cheese.
Where the stuffing is inside, much like it might be in a Twinkie, although certainly not as abundant.
It's not looking great.
What I learned from this is that it's just tough to really put a lot of it in there without it just coming out the top.
I feel like, what do you know about coming out the top? But I feel like you might need to, would it make more sense to put it in the raw meatloaf? Like before you cook the meatloaf? Or is that a bad idea? I mean, I'm not really trying to do this, period. Put it in raw? Girl, I don't know. Girl, I don't know. I don't know. Maya says I don't think that's safe. Have y'all ever had hard-boiled eggs in a meatloaf? Like some kind of Scottish egg? Would it make more sense? No. None of it makes sense. Okay. All right. Well, fair enough. Fair enough.
Because there just isn't a big void inside. But that being said, it was very light. It was
light,
soft.
It was very light. In what world? In what world? It's meat and cheese.
It was moist and delicious. The flavor was fantastic, and yes, I could taste the cheddar and the cream cheese. And as good as it was, and as good as it would have been just with some salt on it, one of my favorite things to do with any kind of meatloaf is add some spicy brown mustard. That's my favorite brand.
Oh, so apparently that's carnivore too. Spicy brown mustard is also carnivore. I'd like to hear Curtis's take on this. Actually, me too. Me too. Me too.
Right there. So I put a little smudge on there, and it really did take it to the next level. It made it extra tasty.
This is crazy.
But could I have done this without the cream cheese and the cheddar cheese? Yes, I sure could have, because that meatloaf mix really was the key ingredient to the whole thing. Not so much the filling. Good enough for some fancy hands, though.
I love how he's like, the key ingredient to this meatloaf was the meatloaf mix I used, because it's literally like the only ingredient. Diva, what else did you really truly add to this?
And what about our cute little meatballs? Well, as I said, I made a double batch, so I ended up having 5 meatballs of varying sizes, as you can see, left over. And all I did was I rolled them all in panko, pork panko.
I can't imagine admitting that I cooked this, let alone publishing it. Amen. Amen, Diva.
As I mentioned before. And then I put them in a preheated air fryer, which I had preheated to 400 degrees. And I cooked them for 22 minutes on this 400 degree setting.
I do love an air fryer recipe. I think I saw that Colin said that. I think Colin shared a video of Mama Mel. If you don't remember her, she's just a lovely lady, and she did like a full day of air fryer recipes. And I always think that some of that shit can get kind of questionable. Like, you're really cooking every meal for your day in an air fryer. I'd like to see it, so we might watch that at some point. But I'm loving a kitchen gadget.
And when they were done, I actually thought about just leaving them just like they are. But, you know, I had some of that cream cheese and cheddar cheese filling left over. And I thought, why not?
Why not have Curtis come stuff these two?
Give it a try. So I stuck the Curtis 2000 in each meatball, and
He's really eaten up by Curtis. Curtis really gagged his ass. Well, like, gagged like gooped. Like, not gagged like sexual, but.
used up some of the leftover filling that I had. And then I stuck it back in that microwave again at 400 degrees, but only for 5 minutes.
Ooh, look at all the grease at the bottom of that.
And after I let them sit for a few minutes, I gave these an official test.
Maybe Curtis is the actual Twinkie in this conversation. Maybe Curtis is a Twinkie, you know?
As well. And I gotta say, I was happier with these meatballs than I was the Twinkie, just because really of the addition of the pork panko and that crispy outer surface of the meatball. So again, not a huge amount of filling, but it added a little something, and it was actually quite soft and delicate.
I'm good.
With the
good
on the inside, and then the outside was crispy, and it really was delicious. I will definitely be making these again, and it doesn't matter whether or not I fill them with the cream cheese filling. The meatballs themselves were very tasty.
Oh, good. Great. So I'm glad you enjoyed it, Diva.
The recipe worth making? Yeah, if you feel like experimenting and you got some time in the kitchen, sure. Was it outstanding? Not from
That looks so miserable. That looks so miserable. It looks like coagulated. Like these edges look... It is not giving.
Special Twinkie-like point of view, but the meatloaf was delicious, and it was certainly worth making, and so were the meatballs, and they'll make a nice addition to our meal prep for taking to work. So thanks for hanging in there with me, and I appreciate you watching, and I hope to see you next time.
I'm all right, Diva. Not it's giving Garrett. Garrett! Oh gosh. Oh geez. Oh wow. Old moldy moldy tater 5959 said titty caca hilarious. Hey there, good to see you. Hubby and I were just talking yesterday about not seeing you in a while, and here you are. That looks like a really interesting meatloaf, and your beautiful wife is right. Do we know what his wife looks like? The meatballs are cute and we love cute. Okay. Alright. I want to see if Curtis is in the comments. I want to see if Curtis is out here commenting. For all the Curtises out there, not that I care what you think. Okay, Angie from Down Under. From the National Geographic website, a carnivore is an organism that mostly eats meat or the flesh of animals. I love the fact that someone who doesn't even follow this, world of eating? What does WOE stand for? Is being the carnivore Nazi. Very laughable, LOL. You do you, and I'll do what I like. Thanks for the videos. Keep up the great content. Angie from Down Under. Way of eating. Why? Way of eating makes way more sense than world of eating. Why would I say world of eating? Sounds like Curtis is the real curmudgeon. Okay, Becky Anderson. All right, Becky Anderson. Well, damn. What a day. Wait, maybe we should end on the Twinkie image. Just to remind y'all what an actual Twinkie looks like. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. World of Eating sounds like a Substack Tommy is subscribed to. Oh, Jesus. Carnivores. Pick meat. Choose meat. Love meat. Look who wants to help say goodbye to the YouTubies. Look who wants to say goodbye. You want to say goodbye to the YouTubies? Alright, YouTubies, that's all I have time for today. Bye, YouTubey, subscribe.